Good morning. Here I am in sunny San Diego, and it is sunny and hot. And of course, when it gets very hot in San Diego, it's ant season. So if I suddenly squeak, it's because there's an ant on me, because that's happened a couple of times already this morning. And I really must learn to not go "Ugh," every time that happens. Anyway, good morning. How are you today? We're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects today. It's quite funny. It used to be one of my favorite subjects. Then it became my worst subject and something I hated so much I couldn't even confront it at all. And now it's beginning to become one of my favorite subjects again. Yes. So before I do any of that, let me introduce myself to you. In case you're new here, you've landed on PhD and Follow Up, our Facebook group, or maybe you're on our YouTube page. To find out all about who I am and what I do, go to phdandfollowup.com/Andrea Kuchin. That'll give you a good overview. Like I said, the Facebook group is PhD and Follow Up. It's about customer loyalty, more customers, more referrals, closing more clients, building better relationships with people that opens you up to more opportunities, which is one of the reasons that I'm actually able to talk about what I'm going to talk to you about today, because this wasn't in our wheelhouse until about a year ago or so. Well, less, 8 months, something like that. If you have questions, you can email me at andrea@phdandfollowup.com. You can call or text me on 858-252-1190. My name is Andrea Kuchin, in case you haven't got that yet. And anything else I need to share with you? No. So, money. I used to love money. I never had a problem with money. My parents talked about how difficult it was with money, and they had issues with money for various reasons. And that all ended up really badly. I didn't. I don't know how, but I didn't. I had good karma when it came to money. I was never unemployed for so long that I got into trouble. I was in the television industry, which means you're working, then you're not, then you are, then you're not, then you are, then you're not, feast and famine. But I learned to budget, partly because I was doing budgets as a production manager. So I got good at figuring out where money was going, where it wasn't going, where it was supposed to be going, how to spend less money and get more value, all that kind of stuff. That was a really good learning curve, actually. And that helped me later on. So I got into the sort of groove of budgeting and handling money and so on and so forth. And then as I changed my career and went to work for a hedge fund, more on that later, I was actually earning way more money than I needed at that point, which is an incredible thing. And money was great. Money was fun, right? And then things changed and the economy changed and work changed and the country I was living in changed and my environment changed and my family changed. Lots of things changed. And my money karma seemed to change with it. And you know what happened? And this probably happens to a lot of you, and I see it in a lot of the clients I work with. That is, once something, regardless what it is, starts to become more challenging and takes more of an effort, there comes a point where if you're not getting wins or success, it kind of unmotivates you, and it then becomes even more difficult to make a little bit of effort to take those steps to get what it is that you want. For example, if you're doing sales calls with potential clients and you've done, I don't know how many of them, and you've closed a really small number of clients or no clients, you lose momentum. It then gets incredibly difficult to make those calls or send out those emails or keep in that communication. So that's one reason why, for example, you need a system, because that takes away the emotional part of it to a degree. But it also shows that there are certain skills you have to learn. If that's happening to you, for example, maybe your sales conversation doesn't work very well. Maybe you need to enhance your sales skills, or your sales is a real trigger word for some people, your enrollment skills, or your persuasion skills, or your value creation skills, because that's basically what you're doing in a sales call, isn't it? It's you're creating value for the person with the thing that it is that you're trying to persuade them to do. And hopefully they will decide to do that thing with you in exchange for some money. So you forget the idea of sales. That's irrelevant. It's a word that upsets a lot of people. So we won't use it. Anyway, that's an example. So the big question that Robert and I have come across recently with our clients is that people are not making as much money as they were a couple of years ago. That includes us, or that included us, and are looking for other things to do. Now, we've always been in the residual income area, right? We've always had residual income. I've harped on for years about how you should always have 5 different income streams that are independent from each other, right? So if you're a coach, you need to create, you need to have your coaching. You can do your one-on-one coaching and your group coaching, but they're connected to each other, right? Because it's the same thing. But then you also need to have a product online that you can sell. It can be a training course that you've done, or a book that you've written, or a series of a video series of something or other, or a meditation video, or something like that that people can buy from you, that you can pop online and forget about, and they can keep buying. Or you can have an affiliate relationship with somebody. Maybe you've got affiliates working for you, or maybe you're an affiliate for somebody else selling a product. Robert and I do a lot of those things. Maybe you join an MLM to sell a health product if you're a health coach. I don't know, whatever it is. We've talked a lot about these different income streams, but everything has a degree of volatility, right? Everything can go up and down and get more and get less. That's why you have so many of them. But the overall feeling that we have at the moment, added to by the fact that people are in a sort of slightly depressed, as in squashed down, suppressed state, because they're still not quite out of this you can't do stuff and go anywhere thing that the COVID thing did to us. So I've just lost track of what I was saying. Hang on, where was I? Yes. So the overall theme is not enough money, right? So we're problem solvers. So what do? We start looking for other places to find more money. And wouldn't you know it, it's amazing how sometimes the universe works. You put out a message saying, I need to know how I can help several hundred people, maybe even thousands of people, make more money in a really simple, straightforward way. And then all these things fall in my lap. And I get the opportunity to test them out. And some of them are rubbish and some of them are illegal, as in scams. And then some of them are absolutely shiny, fantastic gold star products, which I now share with people. Right. So let's talk about investing then. Everybody knows that at some point they ought to be doing it. And everybody knows that in their future, it will be of use, especially if they're thinking of retiring to some degree, which I'm not, by the way. Anyway, I mean, completely. I will to some degree because I love what I do. And there are lots of ways of doing it. And the big one that is promoted so much, apart from, you know, giving money to an organization that then invests it in stocks and shares, and you might keep it and you might lose it. You know, you'll keep it if you're lucky, and you'll make more money on it if you're really lucky, but you need a lot of money to get started. Nobody really talks about that because most people don't have the money to get started. The one that people do talk about is real estate. And there are so many programs and books, and Dean Graziosi got famous in this area, teaching you how you can use other people's money to buy your real estate, and how you can make a fortune if you buy a block and you've got lots of units and you can let them out, and then you get the increased value, which is, you know, it's a double whammy. Again, most people don't have the skills or the ability, the inclination, because there's a lot that can happen with real estate. It's a liability as much as it's an asset. If you've got an apartment and you can't find people to rent it from you, then you're in trouble because you're not making any money and you've got expenses associated with it, which you can't get out of. You can't just say, well, I'm not going to pay the mortgage this month because I haven't got any tenants. It doesn't work that way. And it's a dream of some people, but it's still an unrealistic one. Now, let's have a look at what investing in real estate does give you. And I'm using real estate as an example because it's easy to understand. And I think everybody gets the concepts. You can buy property. And when you buy property, you hope that at some point it will increase in value. Now, it doesn't always, it goes down. And I've heard people in the past bleating about being in what's called a negative equity situation, which just means they have a mortgage for a certain amount and the value of the property is now less than it was when they bought it. So they're paying a mortgage that might be higher than the estimated value of the property at the time. That's all completely meaningless and irrelevant. As long as you're still earning money and you can still pay your mortgage, the estimated value of the property is irrelevant. In fact, the estimated value of anything is utterly irrelevant unless there is somebody standing there with the money who wants to buy it and it's actually for sale. So the value of your property, if you're living in it, is irrelevant unless you want to sell it. Obviously, you don't sell if you can avoid it when the market is low and you're in a negative equity situation, unless you have to. And that's not a conversation for this video. What you do is you wait, you hold on to it until it increases in value. And then when you sell it, you've made a profit. Now that can take 5, 10, 20, 30 years to really make money. You know, for a property to be worth millions of dollars in comparison to what you paid for it, which would be hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, that can take a long time. But in the meantime, you've been living there, right? And if you had a 15, 20, 25-year mortgage, that's paid off. So now it's yours completely. That's a good situation to be in. Now, if you buy what they call investment real estate, so if you buy a flat or two or a condo or, you know, a commercial property or something that you intend to let, in other words, you intend someone else to be paying for it, then you make money on with a residual income. In other words, a monthly consistent income as long as there are tenants in there. Now you then balance the amount of money that you're receiving. Earning is not the right word. The money that you're receiving against your expenses. So you might have a mortgage. There might be homeowner fees or other kind of taxes associated with it. You want to put some money aside in case there are repairs. Well, not in case, because there always will be. There's maintenance and repairs that need to be done to a property continuously. So you need to keep money aside for that. Now, I heard a conversation, and it was a video that I was watching, a conversation between two people, one of whom invests in real estate and has a number of different units. I don't quite know what the units are, but she was absolutely delighted in the fact that she was clearing $250 a month on each unit. And I thought, whoa, that's not a lot of money when you consider how much you have to invest to buy a unit in the first place. I mean, even if it's an office block with, you know, little units that are 10 by 10 that you rent out as offices, or, you know, studio flats or something, studio apartments, $250 a month is not a lot of money. If you consider the amount of work and the amount of effort and the amount of money you need to keep aside in case the roof blows off and needs to be repaired, or, you know, there's a fire and the insurance doesn't cover everything. And even if the insurance does cover everything, you know, you're going to lose income while you fix it. Anyway, I don't want to harp on about that too long. So what you need, ideally, is something you can invest some money into, and you can start with a small amount, which will hopefully increase in value over time, and you can sell in the future at a profit. Now, stocks and shares do that too, if you're lucky. But again, you usually need to invest a significant amount of money to get started. And when I say significant, I'm talking, usually 20,000, 25,000, something like that, in order to hire a broker. Or you can do a course in trading and you can learn how to trade yourself. But I've done that as well. And the horror that you get the first time you see money disappearing is horrific. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Make sure you've got plenty of money to lose if you're going to play that game. You will eventually win, for sure, if you keep at it. But you can still suffer losses, and they can be significant. I have to put all these disclaimers in because I don't want to paint a picture that's, too rosy. So you want something you can buy today, which will increase in value, and you can sell later for a profit. But what happens between now and later? You want something that generates income then as well, right? So you could have the same thing in the case of real estate, because you can be earning income from rent while it appreciates. That is a little all your eggs in one basket, though. So there's no harm in diversifying. So it would be a good idea to have something completely different that you can put, again, a little bit of money into that will give you a return. Now, stocks and shares pay dividends. Sometimes they're yearly, sometimes they're monthly. And sometimes you get the choice of compounding or not. Now, there's a rumor going around that it was Einstein who said that compound interest was the eighth wonder of the world. I don't know whether it was Einstein or not, but it certainly is an absolute wonder. There is a compound calculator somewhere. I'll link it when this goes onto YouTube. I'll link it in the YouTube description below. And you can put a number in there and you can calculate how often you're going to compound. In other words, take the additional bit that you got, your dividend or your bonus or your interest, and add it to the main amount, the trading account or the principal or the seed money or whatever you want to call it, so that you've got a bigger number, so that the following period of time, you're investing a larger sum. So even if the percentage rate is the same, you'll get more money, right? That's called compound interest. That's how the credit cards calculate how much they're going to charge you. That's why you never actually seem to be able to pay off your credit cards, because the interest that they charge you goes on your account, and then they charge you more interest on the balance of your account, which has already got the interest on. So they're laughing all the way to the bank, and you're not. So this way, you can be the one that's laughing all the way to the bank. So how about this for a number? 3%. 3%, which would mean, for example, if you had a starting balance of, say, $1,000, you would get $30. Now, any brilliant mathematicians out there who claim that I'm making a mistake, I apologize. Not my strong point. Numbers I'm good at, maths not so much. Weird, I know. So I think that's right. I think 3% of 1,000 is 30. Just like 3% of 100 would be 3. Now, I wouldn't recommend starting as low as 100, because there are quite often monthly fees, and you want to be earning enough money to cover the cost of the monthly fees. But I would say 250 would be a good place. 500 would be a better place. 1,000 would be a brilliant place. Now, 3%, I don't know what the banks are paying at the moment. In fact, years ago, I brought some money over from the UK, and I remember talking about the interest rates to the girl in the bank. She was from India, and she said that the interest rates here were laughable. And it turns out that the interest interest rates in India at that time were twice what they were in Europe. And I'd come from Europe, and the interest rates here for me were laughable. And there was $10,000 in a bank account, which was earning me 10 cents per month. Okay, I don't know what percentage that is. $10,000, 10 cents per month. And that was a savings account. In fact, that was less earning, less interest than in England. I was getting paid on what you Americans call the checking account. Because in England at that time, you got a little bit of interest on what we call a current account, which is the account that's associated with your checkbook and your monthly expenses and that kind of stuff that you can set up to go automatically. They would pay interest, and the interest I got on that was higher than in the savings account in the US. So a bank is not necessarily the best place to get a savings account. And sometimes if you're going to have a high interest savings account, you have to wait for a long time to get your money out. You have to apply. And because your money is in trades at that time, that's how they make the money. Because it's in trades, it can then take 3 months, 6 months, sometimes even a year to get your money back out. Usually the higher the interest rate, the longer it takes to get your money out. So you want 3% per week. You want to be able to compound it. In other words, take that 3% out every week, take your $30 out so that the following week you're investing $1,030, right? And then you add that next $33 or whatever it is onto it. And then the following week, you're putting a larger amount in. It averages out at 3. It has done since October. In fact, there are statistics going back a couple of years. The company I've been working with since last October has just celebrated its 3rd birthday. And they've been very reliably consistent. Sometimes it goes down and sometimes it goes up. But the average is 3. And that is a fabulous number, especially when you can take what they call a bonus and put it into your trading account every week and watch it go up. Now, there's a monthly fee of $25, which is why I'm suggesting that you want to put more than $250 in. Otherwise, you'll never get beyond paying for your monthly fee, because you'll only ever earn enough per month to pay the monthly fee. You won't get further than that. So 300 is probably the best place to start with that. But it's a lovely feeling. All I have to do is log on a Friday, spend 93 seconds looking at some numbers, clicking a couple of buttons, and I'm done. Right. Well, sometimes it takes longer than 93 seconds if I happen to log on at the same time as a couple of million other people. But usually the process is easy, simple, straightforward. And there's no big deal if I forget or I can't do it. I just have to wait till the following week. It really isn't the end of the world, right? If for any reason I couldn't do it, it wouldn't be a major issue. I just have a bigger bonus the following week. And if I want to get my money out, and I've tested this, it's about 3 weeks, because it's, I think, 7 to 10 working days. And at the time I did it, there was a holiday as well, which dragged out a bit longer. So it was probably sort of 2.5 weeks, because that's working days, right? Brilliant. That changes everything. That gives me a residual consistent income. Think about it. If I had, it's about 10% per month, right? So you could take it out on a monthly basis. You can take it out on a weekly basis. You can take it out whenever you feel like it. But imagine a scenario where you had, say, 20,000 in, and that would be giving you 2,000 a month. 200 a month. No, 2,000 a month. Yeah, that's right, 2,000 a month. So if you need $5,000 every month to live, then all you've got to do is put $50,000 in, and you can take that money out every week. And you still own the $50,000, right? That isn't going to disappear. That's still there. Brilliant. Now, the other thing that you can do, just in case you don't have a spare $300 lying around, is you can take 50 or so and you can buy a cryptocurrency and you can watch it increase in value. That's the short way of describing it. Now, the long way of describing it is that if you ally yourself with the right company, there will be more benefit. For example, the company that I decided to ally myself with has an entire universe of products which are coming out over time, and different coins for different areas like real estate and travel and energy, that kind of thing, that are associated with or attached to actual businesses that have been generating income already, right? So the main coin, for example, is attached to a couple of banks. Normal, ordinary, proper banks that you can get loans from, and mortgages and debit cards and pay your bills and all that kind of stuff. They have a couple of them. There are real estate deals that hold the real estate coin. Now, in the crypto world, this is very unusual. So crypto has been incredibly volatile. This one won't be, because it's based on businesses which already operate and are already making a profit. And then some of the industries, businesses backing it, do good to the planet. For example, energy. They've got water and actual energy and oxygen, and they have ways of creating these resources more effectively, more efficiently, cost effectively. They're creating something of value for the planet in the future. And I love being able to put myself behind something that's doing good somewhere along the line. You know, being able to help people resolve their financial struggles and sleep better at night is great, but it's still a relatively small group of people. Whereas when I'm working with a company that's produced a battery that will run a car umpteen times further than any known battery and take much less time to charge up and be much more efficient in a whole load of different ways, that's creating good for the whole planet. And I love getting behind things like that. So my recommendation to you is that you look for something that you can invest your money into, which will grow. Obviously, reach out to me if you think what I've talked about seems like a good thing. The value of the coin already has gone up more than 3 times since I bought my first coins. There's an exchange behind it, which is being launched in the next few days. The coin will go on other exchanges in the next few days. The other coins are available already for purchase. Reach out to me. Here you go. Reach out to me to find out how you would do that. That's your one side. That's your real estate purchase. For your residual income, your monthly income, get together with a group of people or family members. Muster together $300, $500, $1,000. Reach out to me and I will help you set up your account that will give you consistently about 3% per week. You click on the calculator to see how much that will give you over a prolonged period of time. I think you'll be amazed. And that's it for today. That makes investing less frightening, much less expensive, far more rewarding. And when your money problems are solved, in other words, when you know you've got enough money to cover all your expenses anyway, then you can play with your business. Then you can have fun with your business. Then you can be a true visionary and create whatever you like. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't work first time. You've got time to figure it out and experiment until you get things the way you want them to be, without the stress of not knowing whether you're going to be able to pay your mortgage or your rent. And that's my purpose here, because this is my home biz tips, right? Which should be about business, but sometimes business needs a little help. And the people we're talking to at the moment need help. So here it is, 2 totally separate, totally individual and unique opportunities that I think everybody should be looking at and putting money into. All right, so here's my phone number. You can text me or call me. You can find out more about how we help business owners in particular, but generally people as well, at phdandfollowup.com/Andrea Kuchin. To catch more of us, to participate in the conversation, go to our Facebook group and join up. I'm Andrea Kuchin. I look forward to seeing you here again next week. Thank you so much for joining me. Do ask questions. The more the merrier. There's no such thing as a silly question. All questions and all feedback, good or bad, gratefully received and appreciated. All right then, my friends, I will see you next week. Take care. Now, let me get out of this. Hang on a second. I need to go here. There we go. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.